Hey everyone, Blockchain Bernie here again. An L1 smart contract chain needs a storage layer to be ready for Web3. And what we're discussing today is a little bit of a deep dive. We're discussing, is it better to have a storage layer for an L1, right? Or is it better to have an L1 with an integrated storage layer? So that's what we're talking about today. And for those of you who know me, we're from Bitoku Labs. We're building that storage layer. That will be powering Web3. And, you know, with smart contracts alone, they are not suitable for storage of huge amounts of data. So we need that storage layer for Web3 to take off. And we're super excited to build that. We're working on our white paper, and if you want to know more about Bitoku, bitoku.io is our website. The link is in the description, so check it all out. There is a lengthy light paper there. We're working on the white paper. It's coming out soon, and there we will discuss exactly these things. Is it going to be the L1, the storage layer for an L1? Storage layer for Solana, that's what we set out to do in the beginning, or is it going to be an L1 with an integrated storage layer? So let's do that deep dive, but before we do that, please do me a favor, destroy that like button, and if you like content like this, subscribe to this channel, leave me a comment, and I promise you this is gonna be a little series of videos. We are going to discuss this subject a little bit more in a few videos, so stay tuned and make sure you subscribe. All right, so initially we set out to build a storage layer for Solana. We picked Solana because we feel Solana is the fastest public blockchain out there, and crypto needs mass adoption because that's where, you know, the real value is going to be, right? As long as we only have whatever, a few 100,000 users, a few million users, it's all about a hope for the future that we all will be using crypto someday, right? But that has to happen someday. And then that whole thing needs to scale, and I feel Solana is still the most scalable smart contract blockchain out there. So we still love Solana. And then we thought like, oh, let's build a storage layer for Solana and let's connect it with each other, right? And then while we were discussing the architecture here in the team and writing the white paper, we had another idea. Why don't we just build an L1 smart contract chain with the integrated storage layer, right? And we're actually super excited recently to do just that because it has a few advantages. And first of all, you know, you've seen that term eggs in the description of the video. So the eggs, that's our term for that storage layer that's integrated into that L1, and eggs stands for external global grouped storage. So that means the storage is not on the L1, right? So if you look at Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, Polygon, all these chains out there, if you store anything, it is on-chain, right? It is kind of internal into that L1 or L2, whatever it might be, but it's not delegated to separate storage providers, right? All that storage that we see today is being stored on all those validators of the L1 or L2 smart contract blockchains. And what we're setting out to do is having a storage layer that is external to the actual smart contract platform, right? Because we don't need the large amounts of storage that we need in Web3. We don't need them to be stored on each and every validator of the smart contract chain. We just need a certain amount of redundancy, right? So let's say we need 7 storage providers to store my data, or we need 27, or some configurable number of redundancy so that I can be sure, you know, if I have 27 and then 5 break away or something, then I have enough time to look for other 5 that will keep storing my data, right? But I don't need 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 validators keep all the data of all Web3 apps in the world, right? And that's surprisingly, that's the technology that's out there. Nobody has built an L1 that has, you know, delegated the storage to external storage providers. And that's what we're building here. And we feel like if we make the storage layer for Solana, we will never be the priority for the Solana chain because Solana is building a smart contract chain. They are building, you know, a global state machine, right? And state is just small amounts of data, right? So it's just not on their agenda to have a great storage layer. It's not central to their agenda to be the Web3 platform. Right now, it's quite central to them to be the NFT platform, right? Because they see NFT, and rightly so, as, you know, one of the big drivers of mass adoption. So that is absolutely clear. But what we're setting out is we're making smart contracts the next level smart, right? We make them really smart so that they can actually store large amounts of data. And we can build all those Web3 apps that need that data, right? And we want that data with blockchain guarantees, right? Not store that data on IPFS, where we don't even have consensus on existence of your data, right? Or store it on AWS, where it's all still centralized. Then it's not real Web3, it's kind of disguised Web2, right? So we need that storage layer, and we feel if we integrate that, if we take an L1, and of course we don't start from zero with that, right? We will just clone and fork, most probably, the Solana chain, because all the Solana source code is out there. It is open source. It's available under the Apache 2.0 license. So that means we can take it, make a derived product, as the lawyers say, which will be our chain with the integrated eggs layer, right? And we love that eggs. We are the L1 with eggs, right? And eggs is that external, a global grouped storage. It is grouped because each DApp, each DApp, has its own storage providers that it works with, right? And even every user has one, right? So it's not like completely global as we have it with the other chains. It is grouped, right? So we just have a certain level of redundancy. We have erasure codes that make sure our data is always consistent and things like that. So that's the L1 with eggs. I love that eggs term for the Germans among us. It even has a different meaning, right? But man, I'm speaking English here, so it's the L1 with eggs, and with that external global group storage. And that will be so much faster, more integrated, right? We are not dependent on any L1 to support our storage layer. We are not dependent on, when we onboard developers that build those Web3 apps, to, you know, first go with the L1 that we support and then also go with us. And it's like we feel it is friction, right? So we just went that bold path, right? And we thought, well, fortune favors the bold, right? So let's be bold and let's build that L1 with eggs for each of you that has purchased the Bitoku nodes. That is super exciting news, because with your node, you will now not only be able to run that storage node, but to run that fully integrated node that does smart contracts with storage, right? So that validator node will be, you know, a twofold validator node, right? It will do the regular smart contract chain, plus it'll supervise the storage nodes and validate the storage transactions as well. That is super exciting. If you don't have your Bitoku node yet, go to bitoku.io, click on Get Nodes, because right now there's only 25 left at this price before the price goes up by $100. So only 25 left, and everyone that purchases a node before we do that relaunch with the new branding will get that Passport NFT, the new Passport NFT, to be able to get extra DAO tokens, right? So hurry up, get your Bitoku founders nodes, and don't forget to give me that like, and I will dive into the details of these eggs in the future videos. So make sure you subscribe and also hit that bell notification to not miss the future videos. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.